Hello students, today we are going to continue with standard 6 geography, and we are continuing with major landforms. This is the part 3 of the chapter. In the previous two parts, first part we had done mountains and the second part we had done plateaus. Today we are going to continue with plains. Okay. Now under plains we will be understanding what are plains. We will be focusing on types of plains. Under types of plains, structural plains, erosional and depositional. We'll discuss their formation, location and examples. Then we'll check for importance of plains, and finally we'll find out how landforms affect the lifestyle of the people. Okay, to continue with plains, basically plains are the low-lying areas of the world which are basically the fertile regions, and these are the vast stretches of land which are more or less than 250 meters in height. Okay, the altitude wise it will be always less than 250 meters in height. Coming towards the formation. Now formation of plains is the result of deposition of material brought down by the river, glaciers, sea waves or wind. Okay, so these deposited material can be in the form of lava deposition, sediments, sand, okay, or it can be also the result of erosional processes. Now erosion, basically that is again the agents of erosion which break down the material and then carry it from one place to another. So the higher elevated area is brought down to a lower elevation level. Okay, then there are plains which are also formed because of endogenic forces. Okay, and as plains are the most comfortable relief feature on the earth's surface, people prefer to become the part of plains and lead a life in the plain region. Okay, on an average, when we are considering the relief feature, 1/3 of the world's land surface is made up of plains. Okay, coming towards the types of plains. Now types of plains are structural plains, erosional plains and depositional plains. Now what are structural plains? Structural plains are basically the plains which are formed due to endogenic forces. Endogenic forces we studied in part 1, wherein there are convection currents moving below the earth's surface somewhere in the astrosphere and helps to move the plates in different directions depending on the boundaries. We studied about transform boundary, convergent boundary and divergent boundary. So whenever we have a shallow low-lying area which is below the water surface, imagine a coastal region. Okay, so the place where we have the coastal plains and the place where we have water body as sea, the land surface below that water body rises up due to endogenic force, and that surface which was below water comes up and becomes a part of the coastal plain. Such plains are known as structural plains. Okay. Then we have erosional and depositional, but we'll focus something. So as I said, undisturbed horizontal surfaces of the earth, the formation is a result of endogenic forces. Example, continental shelf rising up from the coastal part of the sea floor, and a very good example of this is your plains of USA. So this is a picture showing plains of USA. Coming towards the erosional plains. Now what are erosional plains? Erosional plains are the plains which are the result of breaking down of the material. Now who breaks down the material? The breaking down of the material is done by different agents of erosion. They are river, sea waves, glaciers, wind basically, and the plains which are formed due to the breaking down of the material which is done by river, wind, glacier, those plains are known as peדיplains. Okay, so these are your erosional plains wherein a higher elevated area is brought down due to the breaking down as these agents erode them, and a very good example of this is your Sahara Desert of Africa. So this is a picture showing Sahara Desert of Africa. Then we have the depositional plains. Now what are depositional plains? In the previous case, as we said, that the erosion takes place which is carried out by different agents of erosion. Now the agents of erosion and deposition remain the same like river, glacier, sea waves and wind. The material which is brought down by them from a higher elevated area is carried to a certain extent where they start depositing it. Now why do they deposit it in that particular place? Mainly because they cannot carry that load, so they start depositing in a low lying area. So the depressed area gets filled with all the material which is brought by the river, seaways, wind or glacier, and that low depressed area rises up to the surface surrounding area, and in this case you have the formation of depositional plains. Now if a river is carrying out that activity, those plains are known as alluvial plains. Okay, if a wind is carrying that activity, such plains are known as Lewis plains. If a glacier is a slow moving river of ice which breaks down the material or carries the material from a higher elevated area and brings down to the lower elevated area, and then the place where it starts melting because of high temperature conditions is the place where it starts depositing that material. Such plains are known as glacial plains or drift plains. Now coming towards the second type of plain, that is your lacustrine plains. Now what are lacustrine plains? Now these plains are nothing but when a lake gets filled with a material which is either brought down by a river, wind or glacier, any other agent of erosion, that lake gets completely filled with the material brought in the form of sediments, sand, boulders and everything, and over a period when the water from that area gets evaporated and makes that whole lake getting connected to the surrounding plain region, such plains are known as lacustrine plains. Okay, this is a picture of alluvial plain formed by river deposition. This is a picture of lacustrine plain formed by again river, wind or glacial deposition, but it is the result of lake getting filled with the material. This is a picture of Lewis plains and this is a picture of glacial plains. Okay, this is a map showing plain regions in the world. So we have Siberian plains here, we have European plains, plains of USA, we have Amazon basin which is again drained by river Amazon, then we have Congo basin, we have Gangetic plains, we have plains of China or so. So whatever you can see in green color on the map are the plain regions of the world. This is another map showing again the physical features on the earth's surface. So whatever green patches you can see are all the plain regions. Now these are the plain regions which are all type of plains: structural, depositional and erosional. So whatever you can see on the map work in the green color are your plains. So basically structural plains are your coastal areas which have got emerged from the shallow water bodies, and internal plain regions are again the result of either the erosional or depositional process. Coming towards the importance of plains, plains are important to us as they are drained by n number of rivers, and these rivers bring a lot of alluvial fertile soil. Now this soil helps in growing various types of crops, either food crops or cash crops. Apart from this, plains also help in constructing various modes of transport like roadways and railways, construction of industries, factories, housing complexes and recreational centers is possible most preferably in the plain region. Okay, depending on all these facilities which plain is providing in the form of alluvial soil, presence of perennial rivers, people prefer to become the part of the plain region, and because of that 80% of the world's population resides in the plain region. Coming towards the landform and people. Now we are going to check how each type of landform, that is mountain, plateau and plains, affect the lifestyle or livelihood of peoples residing in different parts of the world. Now mountains, as we studied in part 1, we said that mountains are something which are more than 1500 meters of height. Because of undulating surface, all the activities like for example agriculture, construction has some difficulty. So as far as agriculture is concerned, mountains are cut and the hills are cut into step-like features and they carry out terrace farming. The house types constructed in the mountainous region, as most part of the mountainous regions experience snowfall, they have slopy roofs. The material used is wood. Okay, so all such things are affected depending on what is available in the mountainous region and depending on the relief feature. Coming towards the plateau region. Now plateau regions, as we understood in part 2, saying that they are the storehouse of minerals, and depending on that, the occupation of the people in this region becomes the mining activity. Along with the mining, they do carry out agriculture, that is somewhere growing of dry crops depending on the climatic condition, that is the moderate rainfall and the soil type. In most regions, millets are grown. Okay, so house types basically in the plateau regions have flat roofs, okay, open terraces, and the construction material is again used as different types of stones. Plain regions, basically plains, we understood in this part that plains are the most suitable major landforms in the world which people prefer to become the part, as it is easy for the agricultural activity, construction of various modes of transports, housing complexes, industries, factories or so. Okay, just to take a quick recall, we were trying to understand what are plains. Okay, types of plains. Under types of plains, we understood structural plains, erosional and depositional plains, that is describing their formation. Then we spoke about importance of plains. Then we checked lastly how landforms affect the life of people. Okay, with this we complete this chapter, that is major landforms. In this chapter, basically covering part 1, part 2 and part 3, we understood major landforms as mountains, plateaus and plains, their formation, their types, examples, and we also checked for various types of mountains, their location, plateaus as well as plains and their location.